Hey guys, and welcome to what is an extremely strange and unusual game. I'm a rubber duck of war leading the mighty forces of Kislev in what was a custom lobby. I hopped in there and realised the funds seemed to be on their own ultra setting, so I delved in like, hey, we're going for a big fat war. We're bringing as many units as physically possible. Both of us going to be bringing 20 stack into 20 stack. It's going to be this giant epic cataclysm event of destruction. And then I loaded into the game and also realized my opponent had set unit sizes too small, so it's going to be a super bizarre, just weird game as Catherine is scrimming some oaths of Urson there in the background. And I didn't know about this till the battle started, but boy oh boy is it an absolute scrap. So let's delve into this. Considering we had so many funds, we've gone pretty elite as you'd imagine. We have triple gold chevron Tsar Guard guarding at the front lines for us there with their great weapons. Should be able to carve apart many a Chaos Warrior. We also have Tsar Guard guarding the flank slightly because I can afford so many elite units there. We have Armored Corsairs as well as Streltsy making up the backbone of our army in the center, also supported by more Tsar Guard and Armored Corsairs in the rear. Right in the center we have one of the most beautiful units in existence, that is the Ice Guard themselves, who are here to rip and tear into their enemies with both bow and glaive. Should be some good fun to see how they perform. We have double Little Grom. I think the Little Grom, in fact going two Little Groms, is very powerful with Kislev in land battles. Kind of going to this onion style of approach. Really is really nasty and powerful with both Kislev and Grand Cathay. Wing Lancers out on the left-hand side. We do have a triple Warbear Riders as well, all of which are triple gold chevron. I had so much money I didn't know what to spend it on, so we kind of went a little bit crazy. We even have a rather awesome-looking Elemental Bear there. Look at him with the sunshine behind him. He's having a nice little snooze at the moment, but he'll get into the action shortly. We have Catherine as well, bringing in just the 2 spells. We do indeed have Heart of Winter, which I found a lot worse in land battles due to the fact you have a lot less winds of magic, and coming in Frost Blades. So for my opponent, he does have a Blood Crushers of Khorne and Skull Crushers of Khorne on the flanks. It looks like one either side, going for a big, fat kind of flank charge up over the mountains and around the outside. We do have some Minotaurs of Khorne with great weapons. It looks like 2 of them as well as 2 Spawn of Khorne. Our opponent going for some nice symmetry in his build. We then have Bloodletters as well as dual weapons Chaos Warriors making up the main battle line, and some Exalted Bloodletters as well on that right-hand side. We have to keep an eye out for them. They can be very powerful indeed. We have one single Soul Grinder of Khorne with his flaming sword looking to bring death and destruction to his enemies. A Foot Herald of Khorne, which is quite an interesting cheap pick, and double Skull Cannons in the back. You can already see a few dead bodies around what is undoubtedly one of Little Grom's offspring there. Launching shots forward into the damage, and it looks like we are going to have a little bit of an artillery duel here between Khorne and Kislev. Not something you would expect. The Tsar Guard do come under a bit of pressure. We're doing some nice damage to our opponent here, really ripping it into his infantry quite aggressively. There's also a Bloodthirster who I forgot to mention up in the skies. He's probably someone who should be mentioned as he is quite a powerful unit, of course. Looks like our Lord has taken a tiny bit of damage from something there. Maybe a bit of friendly fire from the Elemental Bear is just pure swaggerness. Or it looks like the Streltsy are taking damage from the Skull Cannon, so it's probably more likely an overarching shot from them. Elemental Bear is triple gold chevron as well, of course. It wouldn't be a kind of awesome battle without a triple gold chevron Bear. Streltsy quite happy to sit under the fire of the rather inaccurate Skull Cannons there. Little Grom just pounding a Minotaur into the dirt, sending them flying. Yeah, the Minotaurs are taking quite a lot of damage on the approach here. They are starting to bomb rush in. You can see the guns are being unleashed. Likewise, the Ice Guard starting to do some pretty cool animations as they launch their arrows into the enemy. You can see, though, the Minotaurs bomb rush straight into the Tsar Guard. They're not to be deterred from the enemy kind of front line by a few shots. So it looks like they are going to be broken off there due to some nice focus fire from ourselves. The flank engagements are well and truly underway. Skull Crushers of Khorne as well as the Blood Crushers of Khorne getting destroyed by the Bears, as you'd expect. Our Bears certainly going to be a match for the anti-infantry cavalry there with our anti-large Warbears. Catherine is doing a decent job just vibing and giving orders, bellowing where possible. Elemental Bear is going to come with a massive breath attack onto the Bloodletters and the Chaos Warriors who have been dealt with by the Tsar Guard at the moment. Likewise on the left-hand flank, Warbears being stretched thin. There's Spawn here, Minotaurs, Skull Crushers, you name it, my opponent has it. So I'm shooting in and trying to support with the Armored Corsairs as well as the Streltsy. Taking a nasty shot going down the line there. Pretty close game so far. We do come in with a rather beautiful, if I do say so myself, Heart of Winter. That is going to catch out a load of the dual weapons. In fact, 3 units of dual weapons will be taking damage there. I attempt to pin them in with the Tsar Guard themselves. Hold firm, sons of Kislev! If we keep these enemies at bay, we should be enough there to handle and deal with them successfully. Big shots are coming from Little Grom, aiming at the Soul Grinder. The Warbear's doing a decent job here in just dragging down the Blood Crusher. And hey, you're going to chuck a Soul Grinder at me? I'll take it on easy, any day. The Warbear's doing fantastic so far today. Zargard are slowly starting to falter in the front line, though, which is a bit problematic for me, as a lot of these units are ranged troops. We've got Structure in the back, Ice Guard, and now the Skull Cannons are moving to get a bit of a better view. The Bloodthirster is trying his hardest. Streltsy are going to be popping shots into his flank, but he's doing a decent job. Looks like the Winged Lancers charging in a desperate attempt to support the Warbears, who really have been doing fantastic, super outnumbered, but still doing great work against all these Skull Crushers, Blood Crushers, and Chaos Spawn. Elemental Bear is taking a load of damage just by being an Elemental Bear, and the Bloodthirster is now taking a lot of damage from the Ice Guard, who have been pretty impressive so far. Streltsy continue to lay on thick. We've got Armored Corsairs here as well. My opponent does have a bit of an infantry push coming through. Our Warbears have been freed up, and we're going to be wrapping them up and around, attempting to get onto the Minotaur's Skull Cannons and other high expensive targets. If you take a nice overview of the battlefield, it's been pretty crazy so far. The enemy has kind of crashed upon us in waves, and we're just about clinging on to our back line, though it is getting awfully messy. Streltsy being jumped by the rather nasty and angry Bloodthirster. Catherine takes one for the team and gets flung to the ground. Ice Guard moving into hand-to-hand combat. They're not scared, though, of a little Skull Cannon. With their Ice Glaives, we should have enough of battles to really start to drag it down, though there's so many enemy units now flooding into my back line. It is certainly getting a little bit scary. These old Bloodlayers are getting buffed, it would seem, by their lovely Bane. What's it called? It's not the Bane. It's the Hellblade. There we go. I was pretty close. Now they've got over 40 kills. They're going to be quite problematic. The Blood Crushers of Khorne are doing a pretty decent job rampaging as well. They have over 40 kills, buffing their stats. The Armored Corsairs starting to struggle. We do have Zargard come back and Warbear Riders, hopefully able to pin these lads in place. In the main fight, Zargard, they may be nearly down to a man. Only 12 models left. They shall have no fear, our enemies. We shall bathe them in the blood of their friends, and we charge in with the Warbears. Doing a decent job, maybe enough here to overwhelm the Chaos Warrior dual weapons. Skull Cannons have been hunted down by Warbears, which is really good play. Just trying to get them off the battlefield as much as possible. Zargard are moving into the back in an attempt to support the Ice Guard where possible. We're kind of being buffed by the Frostblade, which is really nice, buffing their stats considerably. 57 melee attack on these ladies is probably going to be enough to allow them to drag down the Bloodthirster here. We do get a gigantic sword appear on the battlefield from the sky, so it seems like it was aimed at the Ice Guard. Unfortunately for my opponent, they did go after the Bloodthirster and go hunting, so we're able to escape the worst of that damage. And it looks like the Bloodthirster is going to bite the bullet here. Very close and straight fight so far. Bounce power is in our favour, as Catherine is going to fall back and retreat where possible. But the running out of ground troops, Streltsy are certainly taking a bit of a pounding. Little Groms are trying their best to make a little bit of distance and shoot. Streltsy do get jumped by some rather angry Blood Crushers, so I do move the Ice Guard out to support them. Glaives are ready. They're going to be twirling them in the arcs of death, and hope that's going to be enough to really kind of fumble the Blood Crushers' plans. Streltsy holding the line. Stand your ground has been popped as Catherine herself swoops in. You never get to see her on foot. She's normally on her glorious warbear, which is the better way to take her normally. But look at her. Pure swag. Exploding enemies in ice and destruction. Ice Guard able to hold firm, though, and support their Liege Lady. And it looks like the Exalted Bloodletters will probably be the last units standing here. We have some units rallying. Little Grom's just kiting Bloodletters, which is really disgusting by me. And the other Little Grom is supporting some 12 Zargard to drag down the enemy Skull Crushers, which of course is going to go relatively nicely. Looks like we do have another hard win to go down on the Exiled Bloodlayers, just trying to finish them off. The enemy general goes for a desperate large push. We have one Warbear Rider left, but he's charging and he ain't scared, going after the nasty enemy general that is being buffed by a Horn of Khorne. It looks like the Ice Guard's starting to go down alongside the Streltsy, and Catherine is actually going to have to run away from them and leave them to their fate, which seems to be death. And hopefully drag my opponents through the Heart of Winter, which is slower in speed, and finishing off these Exalted Bloodlayers. Little Grom's been alive is quite nice, though. We are doing a bit of kiting potential, and it seems like my opponent's army is going to crumble, which is a little bit unfortunate. The Little Groms probably would have been enough to kite my opponent there, but he still had a decent amount of punch left on the battlefield. That was certainly the weirdest game I've done so far on Warhammer 3. Just loaded in, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, we're going to be doing some kind of ultra mega funds. I'm down for that. And then to see the small unit size when I hopped in was pretty hilarious. I love the fact the game is teasing me about lizard men here. I want them in the game. Please give me my beloved scaly boys. I'm sure that'll come in due time. Well played to my opponent. It was a good, fun game. I'll delve into damage dealt, damage kills, and all that good stuff of all these units in just a memento. But if you guys enjoyed the video, really appreciate a big, fat, juicy thumbs up. Subscribe as well to the channel for more content into the future. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, which is really awesome. And let me know down below if you'd like to see more land battles, more domination. Would you like to see more crazy games like this? More serious competitive games? Feel free to yell quack, leave a funny comment, or do whatever you want. To be honest, I am not, I'm not your parents. Well, you never know, but hopefully I'm not your parents. There's a link in the description as well to my Twitch, to my Patreon, to my Discord, all that good, juicy, fun stuff. If you're watching this on Sunday, I'm probably streaming on Twitch for the first time in like months. And I don't know if I'm streaming Warhammer 3 content, maybe some other content. Who knows? Go check it out and find out. Anyway, for the lads and ladies, 940 gold value on Khorne. Had some pretty decent uses of the spells and just nice buffs all round. Elemental Bear, 1.2k, been a bit disappointing. Is the amount of gold he costs. 1.6k, 2.9k, and 2.6k. Oh my god, the War Bears. MVPs, it would seem, slaughtering the enemy flanks and then whipping around the back and hunting down single entities and just being an all-round nuisance. And this unit on its own, I mean, it was a whole lot of 3 units. War Bears are so badass, I love them. 730 and 1.5k value on little Groms. Definitely a ton of ammunition left as well. Very impressed with the Ice Guard in the center. Bringing the pain with the range, bringing the pain with the glaives. Just shy of 2,000 gold value there. 13 kills, not bad whatsoever. 1.9k on the Tsar God, 860 on the second unit, 1.2 on the third, and 670 on the fourth. So a bit of a mixed bag for them. Basic Tsar God also struggled with only 700 value. Schultze, 1.2k and 1.8k gold value, just being pivotal in this victory and dragging down the opponent. Armored Cossars did a solid job. Nothing too crazy, kind of mid-hundreds value for them. The Standard Bane, 800 value, and the Wing Lancers did just, an alright job. As for my opponent, the Herald of Khorne, 1.7k gold value. Very impressive for just a Foot Lord running around up to no good. Only 1,000 on the Bloodthirster though. I had a lot of guns, so he struggled to kind of find a home. Likewise, with the Soul Grinder, 780 gold value, ends up getting tussled in with the War Bears. Not something you want to be fighting. 1.5k on one unit of Skull Crushers, the other 950. You can see which one was on which flank. The one with the War Bears and the one with the Winged Lancers. Only 200 value on this unit of Minotaurs. The other one did a bit better, 1,152 themselves. 1.6k value on Bloodletters is insane. 1.3, 800, 800 again, and 270 on the dual weapons. As for the Blood Crushers, very impressive them. 2,132 gold value is very impressive. Likewise, it's a 1.2. Blood Crushers MVPs for my opponent. The Exalt Bloodlayers got dumpstered, only 500 value on them, though the second unit, my god, 71 kills, 3,832 gold value. If you let them get up and running, they will rip you a new one. Skull Cannons are a poor investment, both in the mid to low hundreds value-wise, just not really being able to kind of contend with the War Bears. 800 and 1.2k value on the Spawn of Khorne. Hope you guys enjoyed this wacky build and wacky game. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.